everybody, it's Lindy here. Thank you so much for joining me for today's episode. We are going to be making caramels out of apple cider. My kids and I recently went to the apple farm and we were picking apples and they had fresh apple cider, and of course I had to buy some, and now I have to create something with it. So I thought, what better than to make caramels out of it? Now, if you don't have an apple farm nearby, or maybe it's not fall season, you can absolutely buy apple cider at the grocery store. We are going to turn our heat onto a medium temperature. We're going to pour 2 cups of apple cider into this pot, okay? And you want to simmer this. You're going to reduce it. It's going to take about 25 minutes to reduce it to the amount that you want, okay? You're going to want to stir occasionally so it doesn't scorch on the bottom. When you think you are getting close to being done, you need to pour your cider into a glass container that's a measuring cup. I would not suggest pouring it back into plastic because it could crack it. And you want to reduce your cider from 2 cups to down to about 1/3 of a cup. So again, it'll take about 25 minutes. So I'm gonna get this going and I will check back with you guys in just a minute. Okay, we're right at 25 minutes. So I think that my apple cider has reduced enough. Yep, it looks good. So you're gonna go ahead and set that to the side. We're going to go ahead and butter our pan. You can either use an 8x8 or a 7x11. So you wanna put a little bit of butter in the bottom, and that basically just helps the parchment paper stick so it doesn't slide around. And then if any caramel oozes over, then you don't have any issues. Push this back here. Now I'm going to butter inside my parchment, and you really want to butter this good, okay? The bottom and the side. And if you need to, you can take it out back onto the counter and butter it and then stick it back into the pan. That's actually sometimes a little bit easier to get those sides really good. And all I did was let my butter sit out for a little bit and it softened. Okay, we're gonna stick it back inside here. Now my fingers are gonna get nice and buttery. That's okay. There we go. So we're going to want to get out a medium saucepan to go ahead and start creating those caramels. All right, my medium saucepan's dirty because that's where I reduced the apple cider caramels, and they're hot. The apple cider, and it's hot. So I'm going to go ahead and use my large one. Gives me more stirring space anyways. In a bowl, you're going to go ahead and add together 2/3 cup of the cream, all of the spices, and the reduced cider. Go ahead and mix that together, and then you're gonna set this to the side. It smells so good. Adding the cream to the caramels makes your caramel very creamy and super yummy. Okay, then in our saucepan, we're going to go ahead and mix together the last 1/3 cup of cream, your corn syrup, and your water. Now, you are going to need a candy thermometer for this recipe. All right, you're going to go ahead and heat over medium heat. Let me grab my candy thermometer. Here it is. And you're going to boil until it gets to 234 degrees, which is your, let me see, that is our soft ball stage. So we want to make sure that we're stirring occasionally. That way it doesn't burn while it's reaching that. So it's gonna take a little bit of time. Be patient, get in that arm workout as you're stirring. Okay, I've reached the softball stage, so I'm going to go ahead and turn my burner off, move this off of the heat, and stir in my mixture. And hopefully you guys can see this. It's become very thick and creamy between the heavy cream and the reduced apple cider. You wanna stir that in completely. Then we're going to add the butter, which makes caramels oh so tasty. Okay, we can go ahead and put this back over the heat, back to medium heat. And we're gonna go ahead and slice that butter right into the pan, and we're going to heat it to 246 degrees this time, which is also known as the firm ball stage. Now, if you don't get to this stage, your caramel's not gonna set up. So you want to make sure that you get to that soft ball stage and the firm ball stage. All right, just slicing my butter as I put it in. And I'm going to go ahead and stir as it melts gently. You don't want to slosh this on yourself. It will burn you horribly. And we're going to go ahead and boil it until 246 degrees. Okay, we have finally reached the temperature for the firm ball stage. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off my stovetop. Now, I've put a plate here. I like putting my thermometer on a plate just because this is ooey gooey sticky, okay? And I'm gonna give it one last stir. I'm gonna transfer it into the pan with the parchment. Your handles may be super hot, so be careful. Ooh, this looks so good. Okay, scrape down the sides. And then you're gonna have to let this sit to cool. You want it to firm up. So you can either let it sit at room temperature, or once it starts cooling a little bit, you can transfer it to the refrigerator to let it finish, okay? And then we'll go ahead and cut them, and I'll show you guys how to wrap them. My caramels are completely cooled. I did stick them in the refrigerator for about 20 minutes just to help them firm up just a little bit. And now we're ready to cut them and wrap them. These caramels will last about 2 weeks in the refrigerator if stored in an airtight container and wrapped. I'm going to be making jars for my neighbors. I wanted to give you some little tips on how to cut it a little easier. You can take your Pam spray, your aerosol or your pump oil spray, and spray your knife just so it helps the knife not stick to the caramel. Sometimes they're a little hard to get through. You got to use a little bit of muscle. Cut off those nice, tasty pieces of caramel. You can cut them into squares or rectangles, whatever you prefer. And then all I did was take some wax paper and cut it into little triangles. I'm going to place a piece of caramel inside and wrap it up like this, and then twist the ends, and it should stay shut, just like that. And then I found these little jars at Dollar Tree. I'm gonna put the caramels inside here and decorate it with a fall ribbon. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. That way you're notified every time that we upload a new video. See you next time. Bye.